I'm trying to push people to maintain their properties because I keep seeing so many houses that are just shit and no one cares about how they're maintained. G'day and welcome to the Making with Myles podcast. I'm Myles Clark. Obviously, it's in the name. And this is where we talk all things about building and construction, the real estate industry through the lens of a building inspector. You wouldn't believe it, I'm a building inspector as well as a builder themselves. I build businesses, I build all these things, I build families, I build good relationships. As well as that, we do talk and dabble into a bit of personal development, which is a segment we call here The Journey. And then the other one is called The Shed. The Shed is pretty obvious. It's all the building stuff. So this episode is a shed episode. And we're going to be talking about engaging electricians and plumbers, all right? So this could be for some general work around the house. You might be moving some power points, you might be just changing some lights, you might be doing all types of things. It doesn't matter what it is, as long as you're engaging a registered trade. This is some things to consider because it's very, very important and you need to understand it and understand the risk associated with it, all right? So you are a novice person and you are looking to do some plumbing work in your house. You want some taps moved. Maybe you need some guttering rectified and replaced. Maybe you're building a pergola and adding some guttering, getting some downpipes, fixing some drainage. Maybe you're getting your switchboard upgraded. Maybe you're adding some cool LED, sexy lights in your bedroom. Whatever you're bloody doing, you are going to engage an electrician or a plumber in these situations. Now, these two trades, especially here in Victoria, are registered trades. So what that means is they need to sign off on their work to say that it is all compliant and safe, everything's all good, because the risk associated with doing poor quality work in these situations can be very, very significant. Electrical fires, if you don't know, can burn your house down and it's not a good vibe. And plumbing is another major issue that if you do it wrong, it can cause you significant dramas, causes your house to subside. It's just a whole shit show, pardon the pun. So things, types of electrical work, which we spoke about. So we're talking about like moving power points, things like that. We're not talking about changing light globes. Okay, you can all chill out if you're doing that sort of stuff. But if you're doing any sort of moving power points, just general, if you're exposing electrical wires, things like that, this is when you need a registered electrician to come in. Now, on any project, we'll talk about sparkies first, then the plumbers next. Any works that get done by an electrician need to have a certificate of electrical safety on completion. Okay, so what this is, it's a piece of paper that they will give you to say this has been done by a registered electrician. This is the scope of works. So they will only sign off on what work they have done. If you do get an electrician to come in to do these types of works, I would highly, highly recommend you speak to them about other things in the home that they may see as an issue or a hazard or a risk, and to rectify it at the same time while they're there, okay? Because you can't walk around, and even me, I can't just walk around and go, oh, that's going to be an issue. This looks a bit shitty. That looks a bit dodgy. Switchboard doesn't look too good, all right? Because these guys do it every single day. They're guns at it. So while they're there on site, I would highly recommend you get them to someone audit your home just to mitigate that risk, okay? This is more or less a maintenance thing, okay, for your property. Because sometimes you buy houses or you move into a house or whatever the situation may be, and the past Sparky, whoever's done some work, or the past owners thought he's a backyard Sparky and he's butchered everything and it's on the brink of burning down the property itself. And this is something you obviously don't want. So yeah, if you're getting a Sparky in, doing any sort of moving power points, adding in lights, stuff like that, you need to get a certificate of electrical safety, and then you're all good to go. Get them to check over the property itself. With regards to plumbing is, I think, probably one of the, it's as important as electrical, to be honest. So again, when it comes to plumbing work, so any sort of modifications, any sort of additions of plumbing, any sort of rectifications of like guttering and stuff like that, you should be getting, and I would recommend getting it, a compliance certificate, which says that the plumber this is a very formal document. It just pretty much states all the things, who the registered plumber is, the scope that they did, if it was maintenance work, if it was a new construction, whatever type of thing it is. They only sign off on the work that they have done. In these situations, I would highly recommend, as your plumbers on site, to get them just to have a look over the property itself and give you some advice on some things that you recommend could be done to help improve the property, okay? The most common issue that causes major structural movement in homes, you wouldn't believe it, is plumbing, all right? It's broken water pipes, it's damaged in-ground sewer or storm water, blockages, stuff like that. So if they're there and they're kitted up, most plumbers these days either have access to or have their own inspection cameras. They can run through all the stormwater. So while they are there, I would just pay the money and get these things checked to ensure that they are all working and in good working shape, because you don't see the issues of damaged in-ground plumbing until your home starts to decay and subside and you've got these massive substantial cracks, and then you're forking out 25 grand to get it all underpinned and all this sort of shit. So you don't want to be doing that. You want to mitigate these risks, okay? I'm trying to push people to maintain their properties because I keep seeing so many houses that are just shit and no one cares about how they're maintained from the more important aspects, okay? It's painted and looks beautiful, but there's structural cracks on the side and it's about to subside and about to bloody fall apart. So with plumbers, again, they're only going to sign off on the work that they're going to do, and that's it. So I would always seek to get advice. Then not everyone's out to shaft you, okay? You can always say no to the advice they give you. If you think they're dodgy, that's completely fair and reasonable. But yeah, just do that and then you'll be all set up for success. Now, if you've engaged someone or you are engaging someone that may not be providing a certificate, this is technically illegal in the building industry, but it is very common, okay? So you might have a 3rd or 4th year apprentice who is an absolute gun, who can rewire an entire property, but they don't have the certificate to say that they are a registered electrician and can sign off on it and have the insurances in place to back that up. For me, if I was doing any sort of very small job, and I'm talking like moving a power plant from one side of the wall across to the other side of the wall, in those types of situations, I wouldn't stress too much about it. All right. Now, I know that's the wrong thing to say, but if it's just a little cashy for a little job and it's something very simple, I think it's okay. Maybe if you're adding a couple of lights, it's okay. But if you're doing a pretty decent scope, you might be just changing every single downlight in the whole living area, and you might be adding multiple power points to local, like little areas in your theatre room or something like that. You definitely want the right people in there to do the right job. Just make sure that you can vet them enough and you know that they are competent enough to do their work. So you want to have some sort of relationship with them at least, okay? It's like a sisters, brothers, cousins, dog walker or something like that. You know, someone that you know personally, and I don't see an issue in those situations. With regards to plumbing, if you're sort of changing tap sets and doing little bits and pieces like that, again, you could probably just chill out on it. But for me, plumbing is another good one to make sure it's all signed off and done correctly, especially with regards to like drainage and stuff like that. You'll find a lot of landscapers want to come in and add drains absolutely everywhere. Just make sure it's done by a plumber. It is compliant. It's signed off. You get a compliance certificate. So if anything was to go wrong or there is any issues or it's done very poorly, you've got something to fall back onto, okay? So again, if something's done wrong and done poorly, you can always fall back and do what you can do to sort them out. But these are just sort of some things that do come across quite often. But overall, you really want to be ensuring that you get registered trades in. You want to ensure that they are giving you compliance certificates. They're giving you certificates of electrical safety. So this is something to be mindful about. I've met a lot of people who have got sparkies in to do this and this and this. And the work's awesome. Like, I have no issues with it. It looks really, really good. From a compliance point of view, I have no dramas with it. But they just don't provide that certificate, okay? When you start going to like sell homes and all this sort of shit, people really ask for all these things because they want to know that somebody's done the right thing. And they may have done the right thing, but they just don't have that sort of proof to do so. So if you're engaging electricians and plumbers, take these simple steps, understand the things that you need to get out at towards the back end. So everything you do is all compliant and you're all good to go. And then thumbs up from me, you can crack on. So if you found any value in this, give it a like, give it a share, give it a rating, and we will see you on the next one. Hooroo.